Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the charts for XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check that out today. And we have actually just launched our new podcast, so if that is your kind of bag, link is in the description down below. Easy listening on your commute to the office. Right, let's waste no more time though. Let's jump into this. Right, XRP paired up with USDT, and we are using Binance as our data source. Now we have invalidated a 5-wave structure to the downside, and this isn't bad, it's just not great either, and we are actually having a pretty significant bounce to the upside. And I'm going to break this down for you so you can be prepared with what I would expect to be happening next anyway. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this 5-wave structure, right? So we had a wave 1 at the low point being 37.53, okay, 0.37.53, and essentially we moved up into a wave 2 high, and then we pulled back down into wave 3, and then the wave 4 is not allowed to cross the wave 1 low, okay, so we shouldn't have crossed 37.53. Now with that, the only reason you could still have a 5-wave structure would be in an ending diagonal, which is possible, but for the most part, I actually think something else is going on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this little 5-wave structure in, okay, just here, okay, because I think that's actually okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to represent this as a 3-3-5 structure, okay, so a corrective pattern that's a 3-3-5. So if I grab hold of my WXYs here for a second, we go with this structure here, so we have the WXY just there, and then of course we go WX and Y here. Okay, so essentially that's 3 waves, that's 3 waves, and that's 5 waves. In total, that basically makes the entire thing a 3-3-5, or alternatively a giant, if I go ahead and grab that high, W, X, and Y. Okay, so why is this important? Well, this is important because this could be a part of our finishing corrective move, right? And this bounce to the upside here is also currently 3 waves. Okay, now it can push a little bit higher and it could turn into a 5-wave structure, and if it does, then that would be a zigzag and all of that kind of stuff. So for the first thing we want to do is we want to measure the distance here, right? So we have 1, 2 technically overlap, so that's not, so we're going to keep this as a 3-wave structure just here within this little subsection. And we're going to grab this measurement and we're going to move it over to this consolidation right here. You can see that we've just come up to the 37.5, that being our 1-to-1 ratio, and we've just overextended and headed towards the 1.236 at 38.9. Now, essentially, we actually have the high point just a couple hours ago at 38.71. So again, you can see that there. Now, if we were to take a look at this, we would also articulate this maybe being towards the end of the correction. And what I mean by that is we also have the ability to kind of say, okay, well, maybe here we actually have a 5-wave structure, right? And inside that 5-wave structure, what do we have? Well, we have a 3-wave move down there, just like we did before, and we also have this 3-wave move up here. All right, so a 3-3-5. So again, a giant WXY. So again, from that kind of perspective, what have we got so far? We've got a giant move here, we've got this one coming up, but this could just be a bounce, right? This corrective bounce up, and the reason for that, if we bring the stochastic RSI, now we are correcting down, so that we could push a little bit higher to the upside here, which wouldn't be too bad. So we could push up a little bit more for a significant bounce to the upside there. Now, thought 1.42 would be a point of interest for me. Whether or not we actually turn this entire structure here into a 5-wave move, that could be interesting. That could allow us to actually see this as the bottom. But for now, it's all looking corrective. But in the future, that might actually turn into a trend to the upside, which will be really cool. If it does, that would actually mark down here at the bottom, right? So our bottom being about 28 cents, which was actually a little bit off where I had this targeted, right? I actually had this at 26.4 to 28.2. So yeah, it would be a little bit on the miss side there, but nonetheless, this could still just be a bounce to the upside. So on our hourly chart, we could have a potential more room to the upside. But as I spoke about previously, right, we are overbought on our hourly chart. We are overbought on the 8-hourly chart, And I believe by now we are overbought on the daily chart. Okay, so the macros are actually telling us that we are going to collapse down. So I still think these lows are possible, right? So if we were to break this down, with this being a giant corrective move, this is going to be super bearish, unfortunately. But if I were to grab hold of this low point, where we just missed our target, up to this high point just here, and then take this measurement and actually, you know, move it over to our current high, then we are talking about 23.8 cent. If we do push up a little bit higher, which I think is possible, let's just hypothetically say we go up to this previous area of resistance and support, just along here, it's approximately 39 cent. If I were to put that about there, then we are looking at about 24.5 on the lower side of things. And again, this correction then would be perceived slightly differently. I'll just draw the macro up so you can get an idea. Let's hypothetically say we do bounce up here, and then we've actually pulled down to this end. So we end up with this kind of bounce like that, okay, and again that just takes us down ever so slightly lower towards those targets, and you know that would be very much aligned to many of the other cryptocurrencies at the moment as well, kind of surging up, finishing a corrective bounce, and then looking to pull back down, heavily overbought on those macro time frames, which means we are likely to see some significant drop to the downside. And as we spoke about before, right, we actually have all of this as a corrective play all the way from the very top here. And if I take the measurement from this low, if I can grab it, can I? I'm gonna have to zoom in a sec. One, bear with me. If I grab that low point just there, okay, we'll just park that over, just make this a little bit bigger, okay. And we actually take this all the way to the top. Let me just zoom back out a tad, right up to this high point just up here, okay. We then grab this and we move it over to our consolidated bounce just here, about 46 cent, and straight away we are talking about just coming down towards that 17 cent range, right? So it's possible that we actually drop down very, very significantly, right? And so we want to be cautious at this point. You know, there's a lot of different areas of support to be found in and around all these kind of zones. I don't want to kind of confuse anyone. So the first thing really that we'd want to look for here is to see whether or not we can push that a little bit more to the upside around 39.8 cent, and then see if we can actually hold support at about 24.5 cent. If we're able to hold around here, that's actually not too bad, and that could actually be the area that we could see reversal. But it really does depend on the momentum of the price action as to whether or not we are going to hold support or lose it. So do watch out for those things. Essentially, we have got the support, the major support level really at 17.35. That's going to be the area really that we, if we actually shoot up into our 8-hour chart here, you can see this is where we went down to in the lows of 2020, December 2020, just after Jay Clayton had dropped the lawsuit on Ripple. So basically we were up here, we were riding nicely, the lawsuit got hit, and then bam, we dropped all the way down. Now that was effectively a 5-wave drop just into this little move here, and then we started to get some traction back in 2021 following the rest of the market. But essentially that actually now marks a really interesting level of support, but so does the 24 cent, right? So if we take a look at all that consolidation all around here, specifically, you know, around September of 2020 and you know, January of 2021, these were the areas of support and resistance. So finding that our 1-to-1 ratio dropping down from 39.8 and down to about 24.5 cent could be a really good place for us to find support for XRP, and hopefully then start to see this impulsive structure to the upside form. Okay, and the impulsive structure is a trend-based structure, so that's one of the things that could also start forming here if we were more bullish on those sentiments. Right now, the stochastic RSI shouldn't really give us too much hope for this, but it is possible that this entire structure that we're currently witnessing to the upside you know, could potentially hit, you know, the 41.42 and actually start a impulsive structure upwards. But I think that's incredibly unlikely at this stage. But, you know, I'd like to be wrong on that, and I'd like to start to see that move up. That would just basically effectively just mark a wave 1 correction, and it would be wave 2 that we would then actually look to accumulate on rather than these current lows going down lower. So essentially, yeah, XRP is actually in a really interesting spot right now. It's gained about 34% from the low point down here in in 18th of June, I think it was, out to, well, a couple hours ago. So that's all looking very, very good, very encouraging. But, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, many of them are surging up. They're looking to complete their corrective patterns, and then they're also going to be pulling down in a really significant way. So if you haven't already checked out the Bitcoin video, the Ethereum video, check those out. They are looking pretty bearish on the macros, and XRP, unfortunately, is very much the same as that. So although there's a lot of great, you know, hope and I guess like FOMO right now, it isn't something really that we want to be too or to get too carried away with. I would be very, very cautious at this particular stage. You know, things do not move in straight lines forever. There will be corrections, and it's the corrections that really we want to be you know, looking to dollar cost average into, etc. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.